Good day, everyone. My name is KHRIZZA Valencia, and I will be the first presenter for the DECE Section 2, Group 4. And our topic will be all about Principles for Early Childhood Education Program. So here are my teammates, Miss Faith Ann Canillo and Miss MARIFE LEQUIDO. All right, so let's start right away. So we have here our introduction. So early childhood plays a vital role in shaping a child's cognitive, social, and emotional development. Implementing effective programming principles ensures that young learners receive quality education that nurtures their curiosity, creativity, and growth. These principles, such as child-centered learning, play-based approaches, and inclusive practices, create a safe and stimulating environment where children can thrive. This presentation will explore key principles that guide early childhood education programs and highlight their importance in fostering a strong foundation for lifelong learning. So we actually have 10 principles for early childhood education program. So I'll be talking about the first three principles for early childhood education program. So we actually have here my assigned task is to deliver these three principles. So the rest will be talked to. I mean, will be talk Miss Faith Ann and Miss Marife will be the one to talk about that. All right. So first we have here child-centered learning. Next is holistic development, and also the last one is active learning through play. So first is let's talk more about child-centered learning. So focus on each child's interest, abilities, and developmental pace, allowing them to explore and learn at their own comfort level. So in this time, just what the first principle is, is said that it is a child-centered learning, meaning the center of everything is the child's needs and interests. So we need to let them move around our classroom confidently and independently, but with our own guidance, of course. So we have here a sample activity. We have open-ended materials. So we could actually have the materials such as sand, water, Play-Doh, clay, and natural materials like twigs, flowers, and herbs. So actually, open-ended materials, its learning focus is it encourages a creativity, decision making, and self-expression. Okay, next we have inquiry based exploration. So the activity is let the children explore nature or classroom objects and ask questions about what they observe. So in this time, they're going to develop more on their curiosity, observation, and investigative skills. So in that, they're going to test where the children is also tasked to develop their creative thinking for this activity. So we have here a sample
Okay,
video
ready?
about child
Put your hands in the
learnings, and
air
it
so
will
we don't
be
mush
all
anyone's
about
fingers.
open-ended
These
materials. So let's
are
watch.
more ideas of things you could use for your design.
This is a ball, and this is a little big one.
In early childhood, teachers are constantly differentiating for children depending on where they are.
One is much smaller.
One is much bigger and one is much smaller.
Open-ended materials allow young children to access learning in a way that's meaningful to them in that moment in time.
I'm giving you some small rocks. See what kind of marks those make.
If you think about the zones of proximal development, we don't want to frustrate children with a material that's too hard for them, but we don't want to bore children with something that's too easy for them. Open-ended materials lend themselves to children using them in a way that they can learn at their own rate, and we're meeting them where they're at.
Your job today is going to be to move To transfer, can you say that word? Transfer. To move the sand from the container to the bottle. And in front of you, we have all these different materials.
Open-ended materials don't have one right way of being used. Children can explore them and use their imagination and take them where they want.
Look at that, she put something inside her funnel. Does that change how the sand goes through?
Yeah, it goes through here.
It goes through there.
I want to try that.
You want to try that?
And teachers are there as facilitators by their side to help them explore those ideas and ask the right question at the right time to advance their understanding and learning.
Can you put your fingers across that and see what it feels like?
That's a good idea.
It has a little bit of texture.
Materials that we choose are often coming from a natural environment. Oftentimes it's not things that we're purchasing, but found items. Things that will give teachers and children an opportunity to have conversations.
Carrying important things. What's inside there?
And many times those materials that are put out are there to support vocabulary.
It sounds like tunnel.
It sounds like tunnel, and funnel. What do you notice about those words? Tunnel, funnel.
Tunnel.
They
Well, I want.
rhyme. That's right, Mark.
When you have interesting things in your classroom,
The honeycomb.
Oh, those are honeycombs too?
you have interesting things to talk about. You might notice one child starting to do one thing and another one will look over and say, oh, that's a great idea. Often you'll see them having conversations and genuine relationships are starting to be formed.
Can I have one?
All right, so that is all about open-ended materials. So next, let's have the second principle. So we have your holistic development. So it addresses cognitive, physical, emotional, social, and language development through integrated examples. So this time, all about holistic development. So meaning it enhances language, listening comprehension, and also with their development fosters teamwork, patience, and social interaction, and many more um, development focus to learn about holistic development. So we actually have here storytelling and picture reading. So in this way, we're going to ask. So through picture reading, we're also trying to let them look at the picture, and they can also try to tell a story by just looking at a picture. All right, so actually, kids can make their own story through seeing a picture. Okay, next is pass the ball. So, by the way, let's try to go back first to storytelling and picture reading. So, it is to read stories aloud and engage children by asking questions or encouraging them to predict outcomes. So, again, the development focus for this is enhances language, listening, and comprehension skills. In this way, even though they're still young, they're from the very, I mean, even they're still young, they're actually learning these kinds of development focus through understanding language and learning language or learning to read the language. So, yes. All right, next we have pass the ball. So this is a group cooperation game. So we need to play groups like pass the ball or Simon Says. So it's either of the two. Actually, this development focus fosters teamwork, patience, and social interaction for the kids. All right, so this time I think social interaction for these stages of their age is actually very important because they're going to talk and they're going to practice more on their communication on how they're going to talk with their peers. So
This
here
morning I
is
am
a
going
sample
to share a story
video
with
about
you for
storytelling
Read
and
Aloud.
picture
I want to
reading.
do
So
a
let's
pre-reading
watch.
strategy with you. I'm going to show you the cover of the book. I'm not going to show you the title of the book. And I want you to tell me what you think the story is going to be about. There's a picture of a woman with a tow truck and a toolbox. What do you think that story could be about? Tima?
I think the story's about...
Those are all good predictions. I'm actually going to show you the title now. It's called The Princess and the Pea. I'm going to read the entire story to you, and we're going to work through some activities so that you can go back and retell the story in your own words about what happens. Let's start with the story. The Princess and the Pea. The land of Crystalia was divided into 2 kingdoms. You've heard the story. You know what happens in the story. You're going to get a little booklet with all these sheets. First is your title page. And instead of calling it a retell, I've decided to call it a P-tell. I want you to brainstorm 3 ideas about what happened in the beginning of the story. I want you to brainstorm 3 ideas about what happened in the middle of the story and 3 ideas of what happened in the end. But it's really important that you get them in order. When you're retelling a story, if you get the order mixed up, if you tell the solution before you tell the problem, it's not going to make sense. What are you going to learn about in the beginning? Julie?
The setting.
The setting. Mohammed, what else? Characters. What will we find in the middle?
Problem.
Okay, we'll find the problem and we'll find a lot of details. After you've brainstormed with your partner, you're going to do your own P-tell. You're going to rewrite the story so that you can share your story, but you can't rewrite the whole story. We read the story and it's really long, and you don't have enough room to rewrite the whole story. So you need to pick the very important information and get it in your retell. I'm going to send you back to your desk to work with your partner on your brainstorm, and then we'll start on our retell. If you open it up to the first page, where it says beginning, middle, and end, we're going to do our brainstorming. What could we put in the beginning? Characters can go in there. What's another story element that we can put in there? So you can get started back at your desk. What I'd like to do is have you share some of your retells with me. Who would like to share their retell with us? Smith, would you mind coming up and reading yours?
There was a queen who loves jewelry. She said to the queen, I couldn't sleep. So she got to marry Prince Ralph, and the queen was very happy because she had lots of jewelry. So they lived happily ever after.
Very good. Thank you very much, Smith. This morning I am going to share a story with you for a read aloud. I want to do a pre-reading strategy with you. I'm going to show you the cover of the book.
All right, so last principle we have here, active learning through play. So the principle is encourage exploration, creativity, and problem solving through hands-on and play-based learning. I think this is the fun part for the kids because they really love to play, and we need to also sit to it that when they're also playing, they're also learning something about what they're playing, or they're going to develop something out of it. So for example, building blocks. So encourage children to build structures using blocks or Lego. So the learning focus right here is it develops problem solving, spatial awareness, and teamwork. So maybe if they want to create, or this is the time that they're going to explore more on their creativity sense, right? So because in this way they can create a lot of things through those blocks or Legos. So next, we have storytelling with props. So read a story and provide puppets or props to let children reenact the scenes. So when you're done reading a story to them, I think it'll be best for you to let them do the storytelling, and they also need to make their own props for them to reenact, or for them to act as the character of the story. So the learning focus is improves listening, comprehension, and narrative skills. And also it can also develop their confidence through story I mean th- through what they've heard, right? I think they're good with that. What they heard is that, when, especially when the teacher is telling a story with feelings, they can actually copy that. So we have here a sample video about
Good
storytelling
morning,
with
everyone.
props.
Today I am
Let's
going
watch.
to tell a moral story. The name of the story is The Lion and the Mouse. Let's start. Once upon a time, there lived a lion and the mouse. One day the lion was sleeping. The mouse started playing on it. Yippee! Wow! Yippee! The lion woke up. He caught up the mouse and was going to kill. The mouse requested for forgiveness. Oh king, I am very scared. Please, please don't eat me. I shall never forget it. Maybe one day I can help you. The lion let him go. Go, tiny mouse, go! Thank you, king. Thank you so much. After some days, the lion was caught in a net. The lion started to roar loudly. Help me! Help me! Somebody help! Help me! Somebody help! The little mouse heard the voice of the lion. Oh king, don't worry, I am here to help you. The mouse cut the net with his teeth. Ay, 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 ay. The lion was free. He thanked the mouse. Thank you, mouse. I will never trouble you again. The lion and mouse became friends forever. The moral of the story is do good, have good. We should follow in our daily life. Thank you. Good morning,
Okay, that was
everyone.
really cute,
Today I
but
am
I
going
think
to tell a
it'll be
moral
best
story.
also if
The
you're going to
name of the
suggest to your
story
students
is
maybe they could just
The
reenact as a
Lion
lion because I
and the
think
Mouse.
kids are
Let's
great
start.
imitators, right? So I
Once
think
upon a
this
time,
is the
there
chance
lived
for
a
them to,
lion
explore more with their talents. All right, so I think that's all for my principles
and the
for
mouse.
early childhood
One day,
education
the lion
program,
was
and the
sleeping.
next presenter will be Miss Faith Ann, followed by Miss MARIFE LEQUIDO. All right, so anyway, thank you so much for
The mouse started playing
listening to
on it.
my reporting for
Yippee!
DECE
Wow!
603, and that will be
Yippee!
all. Thank you.
The
Bye.
lion woke up.
So I am the second reporter. It's talk about principles for early childhood education program. So we have positive relationships and social development, family and community partnership, developmentally appropriate practices, and continuous observation and assessment. So let's continue. So let's proceed to the positive relationships and social development. So foster a nurturing environment where children build positive relationship with peers and adults. So these relationships help young children develop essential social skills such as communication, empathy, cooperation, and emotional regulation. So we have sample activities. Okay, so let's have teacher child bond. So a warm, responsive, and supportive teacher help children safe and valued. So a teacher who greets each child with smile and acknowledge their feelings help the children feel secure and ready to participate activities. So look at the picture. And the second one example, we have emotional support and regulation. So we have to positive relationship help children recognize and manage their emotions. So when a children is upset or when a child is upset, a caring teacher might say, I see you feeling sad. Would you hug or talk about it? So this helps the child develop emotional awareness. So look at the picture. So the third one, activity. Okay, so we have encouraging social skills through activities. So group activities, storytelling, and role playing, encouraging communication and relationship building. Singing a good morning song, where children take time saying others' names foster a sense of belonging and respect. So they are going to sing, good morning, hello, and how are you? Okay, so next, let's proceed to the, okay, when we say positive relationships in early childhood education, programs create a strong foundation for social development. So, through interactions with teachers and peers, children learn essential life skills such as communication, empathy, and cooperation, setting them up for success in school and beyond. So, let's continue to the another principle of early childhood education, which is the family and community partnership. So it involves families and the community to create a collaborative learning environment. So these partnerships helps build child's sense of belongings, reinforce learning at home and school, and connect families with valuable community and resources. So we have a sample activities. So the first example is we have family time sharing. So look at the picture. So we are going to invite the parents or the community members to read books. And we have parenting workshop. So a child center offers parenting workshops on topics like positive discipline, healthy nutrition, and early literacy development. And the other one is we have respect and cultural sensitivity. So recognizing and valuing diversity, family background, cultures, and traditions. So a preschool celebrate different cultural festivals and invites families to share their traditions, foods, and stories. So example is the Buwan ng Wika. So we are going to celebrate the Fiesta Sanayon, and we are going to share foods. What else? Nutrition Month. Okay. So that's the example. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, by implementing these family and community partnership principles, early childhood education programs create a supportive learning environment that enhances children academic and social development. So collaboration between teachers, families, and community ensures that children receive a strong foundation for lifelong success. Okay, so let's proceed to the developmentally appropriate practices. So use age appropriate teaching methods and materials that align with children's development stages. Okay, these practices help educators create engaging, meaningful, and inclusive learning experience for young children. So, okay, so let's have an example or sample activities. So we have sorting and matching game, okay, play-based learning, and hands-on material. So, inserting and matching games, so provide various objects of different shapes, colors, and sizes, and ask children to sort them into categories to develop cognitive and classification skills. So let's proceed to the play-based learning. So a classroom has a dramatic play area where children can play or can role play as a doctor, a scientist. Okay, so promoting creativity and social skills. So let's have the third one, hands-on materials. So a teacher provides different levels of puzzles to the children, simple one for beginners and more complex ones for those ready for a challenge. Okay, so those are the sample activities for developmentally appropriate practices. So these programs provide meaningful, engaging, and inclusive experiences that support children's cognitive, social, emotional, and physical growth. So by understanding and respecting children's individual needs. Okay, so let's proceed to the next principle, which is the continuous observation and assessment. So when we say continuous observation and assessment, so we monitor progress through regular observation to guide and adjust teaching practices. So this principle ensures that parents or teachers make informed decisions to support each child's growth effectively. So let's proceed to the sample activity. We have the learning portfolio. Okay, so maintain a portfolio with children's artwork, writing samples, and teacher observations. And we are going to review this to identify strengths and areas for growth. So aside from learning portfolio, so we have anecdotal record. Okay, we have anecdotal record for their behavior. Okay, so continuous observation and assessment in early childhood education help teachers track developmental progress, adjust teaching strategies, and support each child's unique learning needs. By using a variety of assessment methods and involving families, teachers create an inclusive and responsive learning environment. So that's all.
A pleasant afternoon, everyone. I am Faith and Canillo, and I will continue the report on Principles for Early Childhood Education Program. Cultural responsiveness and inclusion creates an inclusive environment that respects and celebrates diversity. It is a learning environment that values and respects all students' backgrounds, cultures, and experiences, promoting a sense of belonging and fostering a positive learning experience for everyone. On the next slide, you will be able to see what cultural responsiveness and inclusion is.
Our student community is made up of all types of learners. Culturally responsive teaching is capitalizing on all that students bring into the classroom from their personal lives and their home lives, and respecting that and using that to create classrooms that are powerful and meaningful.
You need to know who your students are, their backgrounds, their interests, their families, and using that is going to be your number one tool in driving your instruction. That's how you make it relevant to them. That's how you make it exciting for them because they see themselves in the text. They see themselves in the examples.
My cultural heritage was largely absent from my school experience, and I don't want students to go through that. I want them to be able to explore the richness of their identity and the identity of their neighbors.
This made Grace sad for 2 reasons. She didn't like Natalie, and she didn't have a daddy of her own. She couldn't imagine making...
Thanks a lot for that, Carlos. That means a lot.
Why don't you come up first?
I would like to dedicate this class to my grandpa. He's an immigrant, and he knew very little English.
Any school should and can know who their students are and what they bring in the classroom with them, and use that to strengthen their teaching and their support of those students.
Okay, so see how impactful cultural responsiveness and inclusion to the life of a student. Some sample activities for that principle will be: share your culture, wear traditional clothing, share stories, songs, and art from your cultural background, display cultural items, show off cultural or historic items that tell the story of your heritage. Aside from that, you can attend cultural events, look for local art exhibitions, parades, or award ceremonies for artists and scholars. Support diversity, encourage attendance in cultural art exhibits, hold multicultural movie nights, play international music, and support minority businesses. The next one will be safe and supportive environment. Provides a physically and emotionally safe space where children feel secure and encouraged to explore. Focus on physical safety, a hazard free space, and age appropriate materials. Emotional support, positive interactions, and clear expectations. And fostering a sense of belonging and respect. Sample activities will be creating a cozy reading nook or a classroom reading center or corner. Set up a quiet corner with pillows and books where children can read and relax when they need a break. Some examples are posted on the screen. I will show you a video also on an example crazy or classroom reading corner. Okay, see how beautiful that cozy reading nook or classroom reading corner is. And the last one is promoting independence in decision making. Empower children to make choices, solve problems, and take responsibility for their learning. Provide opportunities for choices, encourage problem solving, and create a safe environment where they feel empowered to express their thoughts and decision. Example: instead of dictating what they should do, offer choices within appropriate limits. For example, instead of saying, "Put on your shoes," you ask them, "Do you want to wear blue shoes or the red shoes?" Sample activity will be choice time centers. Set up different learning centers, art, puzzles, books, blocks, and allow children to choose where they want to spend time, fostering decision making skills. An example video will be
Here at preschool, we spend a lot of time in unstructured play for the kids because it's important for them to learn their social emotional skills, to practice negotiating skills with their friends, practice turn taking, using their language, to ask for toys, to request a toy, or to take turns. So we spend a big chunk of our day in center time or unstructured play. During center time, the children are able to pick what center areas they're able to attend. So they could choose from water and sand play, they could choose science center, they could choose math center, art center, dramatic play blocks, and then at those centers, the adults are there to help them expand their creativity at the different centers. And here at preschool, we spend a lot of time in unstructured.
In addition to that, you allow children to pour their own drinks with supervision, use utensils, and help with setting the table if they're doing household chores. Or you supervise and encourage independent hand washing, toothbrushing, and other hygiene routines for hygiene. So I think that would be all for the reports on the principles for early childhood education program. To conclude, high quality education or high quality early childhood education programs are crucial for laying a strong foundation for children's future success, fostering holistic development, and promoting lifelong learning. By following these principles, we can create an enriching and effective early childhood education programs that supports every child's growth and development. To end, I will leave you this video presentation.
People who don't have a real understanding of what early childhood education or teaching is, that's what they think about. We are like just babysitters. We're just giving them things to play with. They're not actually realizing that we're actually doing more than that. We are actually teaching the children to be a good human being, teaching them manners, teaching them things that's going to help them develop their skills, especially their physical, cognitive, and especially their emotional and social.
We do so much every day, and I wish people knew how much we did, because I think we would be a lot more appreciated.
And it's education, it's providing children with opportunities to grow and develop, to build relationships with families, to work as part of a team, to work within the community. There's just so many different aspects to working at a campus than just looking after children.
We're definitely not babysitters. You know, it's not an easy job. You have to be really passionate, and it is challenging, but it's definitely rewarding. We are educators. We teach, you know, children a lot, and I believe they learn a lot from us as educators.
We need to learn the programs, and in order to deliver it to the children. So, you know, I've learnt Spanish and music and sustainability practices and all this great stuff, so then I can then, you know, teach it to the children.
People who don't.
Thank you, and once again, good afternoon.